Hi everyone, I'm Heidi with Onigo Stamping. Thanks for joining me. Today I have a pair of Slimline cards to share with you that are clean and simple. That means they have one focal point and then the rest is kind of just clean. There's nothing there. They're white on white with some see-through windows that show a rainbow of colors using the 6x6 Designer Series paper. Before I get started, if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you need help with something, whether that be ordering product or you need help making a card or ideas, I would love to be your demonstrator. Please go ahead and leave me a comment to this video or send me an email and let me know how I can help you. All of the dimensions and the supplies for today's projects are available on my website. You'll find a link to that website on the description of this video, as well as another link that goes directly to my store and a list of supplies there. All right, Oni go, let's get stamping. Today's card uses Whisper White cardstock and the bright 6x6 Designer Series paper. So you can see this. Let me pull this out and show you. Really pretty, all these different patterns. Comes in a set, all the different bright colors. And I'm also using the playful alphabet dies and the stitched triangle dies again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a piece of, this is going to be my card front. This is 9 inches by 3.5 inches. And then I also have a Whisper White card base. This is 9.25 inches by 7.5 inches, and then I have scored it at 3.75 inches. So I can just take my card base and fold it in half. Use my bone folder to get a nice crisp fold. And I'm just going to set that aside for just a moment. We're going to work on cutting out the negative space from the card front. For this, I'm using the stitched triangle dies. And you'll see the stitched triangle dies, they come with all these different triangles that are stitched, right? It's super fun. 3 different shapes of triangles with a bunch of different sizes within those. There's also a banner. And then there is this fun conglomeration of triangles kind of in a group. And there's also the strip of triangles. I'm going to grab this one that's in a group. And we're going to create kind of a triangle cluster over here. Grab my magnetic platform and my cutting base, my cutting plate. And because I want to be real particular with this, I am going to grab some washi tape and just tape this down very lightly so that I make sure, I hopefully try to keep it straight-ish at least. It's a little bit hard to tell. So let me just run this through my Big Shot. Okay, I ran that through the Big Shot. And now I'm going to take it off. Very carefully pull that washi tape. I don't want to rip my paper. I'm going to get all those little triangles out of there. You can see the triangles all came out. So I'm just going to push those off. They like to stick to the cutting plate, so I'm just trying to kind of push them off. I'm going to flip over my cutting plate because it was starting to bend a little bit. When your cutting plate starts to warp just a tiny bit, or even, you know, every couple times that you use it, go ahead and flip over your plates. You always want to make sure that you use the same cutting plate on the bottom and the same cutting plate for the top. Don't ever mix them up. They're just going to work better that way. All right, so now I did this before. I did it this way. What I can do is I can actually flip this and you'll see that it kind of fits right in there. Now it doesn't work, it's not going to work perfectly all the way across to do this, but it will leave some triangular shapes and it works. Let's just say it works well enough. This is the second pass, the second set of triangles, and now you can see my group of triangles has grown. All right, I'm going to do this 3 or 4 more times. Okay, I've now cut actually I ended up probably doing it 5-6 times across the front of there. And you can see that I just have this really nice area of cut out triangles. It kind of just makes a pattern there on the front. So what we're going to do with this is I'm now going to come in with my card base, and I have cut pieces of that 6x6 Brights paper. Try to pull these all in here. I've cut strips, and they are 3/4 inch wide by 3 inches, and hopefully that should be enough to cover this whole space underneath the area that I cut out. I'm going to use some Stampin' Seal. It's our new tape runner. And I'm just going to start on the right hand side and just try to make sure that I get far enough to the right, but not too far. And then I'm just going to lay down each piece carefully. This Stampin' Seal is very, very strong. So once you lay it down, it wants to stick. There's not much wiggle room. A lot of times I will use multi-purpose glue instead of the Stampin' Seal just because I like to be able to wiggle it a little bit. So, but I decided to use the Stampin' Seal today. So I have 9 of these pieces. I didn't use the Poppy Parade. I don't know, it wasn't working. 9 seemed to work better, so I'm using 9, and that's the color I decided to drop. And you can see I've chosen a different pattern for each one. So each one I chose a different side of the piece of paper. And there, you know, there's duplicates and things, but I'm not putting the duplicates right next to each other. I kind of want to create not only a rainbow of color, but a whole variety of pattern across there. So just 2 more to go. And if this happens, if your Stampin' Seal starts not to work, just take your finger and roll it up just a little bit. You can see it's starting to like glue to the bottom. So just roll that up a little bit, and then it should be ready to grab again. Yep. And now my last piece of Melon Mambo. And hopefully now we find out if I glued enough of these on, if it's the right number for the area that I created, because each time I do this it turns out a little bit different. So yeah, look at that, just perfect. So that front is going to go right there. Before I put that on, I want to cut out the letters. For the letters, I am using the Playful Alphabet dies, and I've already pulled out the ones I wanted. I pulled out the letters to make hello. What's really great about this die set is that there's actually duplicates of a lot of the letters, especially the letters you seem to need the most, like 2 L's for hello, so that you don't have to cut it twice. I also have a piece of the adhesive foam sheets, and I've cut it down to about 1 inch by 3 inch, which is about what I'm going to need for this project. And I'm just going to go ahead and peel off one side and adhere it to a strip of 1 inch Whisper white cardstock. I'm going to grab my cutting platform again, and I'm just going to lay all these letters on here. Now if I'm using white, so I'm not too worried about it. If I were using a color or something, I would probably put these in order and try to get them straight so I could use what was left over maybe on another card. But the white, I don't know. I'm not going to worry about it today. I've cut those letters with my Big Shot. Just put my machine parts away, and now I will go ahead and peel these letters off. And they and then poke these out. This is really thick, so again, it will cut all the way through them without a problem, but sometimes It likes to stay in place because it's foam. So it takes a little bit just to work those letters out, to get the paper to let them go. So now I have pulled all those apart. I'm going to grab a piece of wax paper. So I'm going to set this piece of wax paper down. I'm going to put down my card front on it. And then I'm going to put these letters where I want them. So just peel off the back and stick them down. And hopefully I get them kind of straight. It's a little bit hard when I'm filming and I'm not looking directly over them to get them in place, and trying not to put my fingers directly in the way, which I probably am anyway. Just trying to put those letters on there. Now there are holes, and this is sticky. So this is why I put down the wax paper, because the sticky part just kind of stick through. So since I'm putting down the wax paper, I'm hoping that that kind of helps it release when I go to pick it up. So there I wrote my word, and I'm just gonna pull that off. Oh, perfect. Set that aside. Now I'm gonna grab my old embossing buddy. So just a little static cling. This has just got like powder in it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna come in, I'm gonna kind of pounce it on top of where those letters are, rub it a little bit. When you get a little bit of powder on there, it will help take away that sticky. The powder sticks to the sticky, and then the back of those letters aren't so sticky anymore. All right, great, perfect. So last thing to do is put my card front on my card base, and I'm gonna do this with Stampin' Dimensionals. That's why I didn't want those letters to stick down, because I don't want it to fall down onto the card front. I want it to be raised up a little bit. And I'm going to use a fair number of dimensionals on here. And then I'm going to adhere this to my card front. Or not my card front, my card base. And just trying to get this centered very carefully and straight, hopefully. All right, not perfect, but okay for not being able to see exactly what I'm doing. So there you have it. Quick and easy card front. Very clean and simple, not real fussy, didn't take too long, and using this great negative space with that rainbow underneath. So let's do a second card. For my second card, I've already prepared, look at this, I have my card base, and I have put 1 inch wide strips of that same 6x6 Designer Series Brights paper, okay, in that same rainbow order. And you'll notice they're not all exactly the same height. I kind of used scraps and leftover bits, so some of them just ended up being a different height. They're all gonna be tall enough, it's gonna work. Once again, I have a card front that is 9 inches by 3.5 inches. For this one, I am going to use this strip of triangles. Grab my cutting base again, and this time, I'm just going to lay this down towards the bottom edge of my card and try to get it straight. That's the big thing, is trying to get it straight. And I also want to grab some washi again because I want it to stay straight. It's going to want to move, so hopefully that is straight-ish. So just a little piece of washi. Run this through the Big Shot. And then I'm going to need to do this a second time because it only goes halfway across the card. So get all these triangles off here. And I have some great confetti when I'm done. What I have found when I was doing this was that I actually took my triangles and I kind of I turned my cardstock over. I'm going to put this on here. Turn this over, line up my triangles. Try to get this nice and straight, get those right in the right spot, and push that down. Now we'll run this through again. And hopefully those triangles will be lined up. So now is the fateful moment when we find out if we did it. So pull this off. Yeah, not bad. So there we have those triangles cut off. Let me get this out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and adhere this right. Well, you know what? I'm going to put the letters on first, just in case. So I already pre-cut the letters, and this time I cut them from the Melon Mambo 6x6 Designer Series paper. So the same paper, you can see it's got this dots on it, just like over here. Let me get all my letters. They're just sticking to stuff over here. Ugh. So I'm going to start with the O because it is farthest to the right. And just put the letters right on. Again, trying to get these as straight as I can. So there I made my greeting, my hello on there, and now I just want to adhere this to the front of my card base. And once again, I'm going to use a whole bunch of dimensionals. And now just adhere this to my card base. And once again, gonna try to get this straight and centered evenly. It's harder than it looks. All right, there we go. And another quick and easy card, really simple, clean and simple design. Thank you again for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed these projects as much as I enjoyed making them. If you did, make sure that you like the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, share with your friends, sign up for notifications so you know next time I have more stamping ideas for you. In the meantime, if you want to know the cutting dimensions or you'd like to order a product, there are links in the description to the video on to my website where you'll find all of that information. All right, until next time, I'll see you later.